And away we go. It is the nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app, Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Get it delivered to your house or go to Dayton. Tell them pump it up. Get your discount, 15% off at all times.
That's Dayton, Kentucky, right on the other side of the river. Not to be confused with Dayton, Ohio, which is about 45 minutes north.
Where you can apparently just buy shots at a liquor store.
That's accurate.
Actually, remember I told you last night I had a good friend that went to Galactic over the weekend.
Yeah.
Their son apparently went to their house today and ate their leftover Galactic and sent me a message telling me how awesome Galactic was and that he could now trust my food takes because Galactic was awesome.
Jeff from Pardon Punctuation says that he could have eaten 5, and
I want that on camera. 5 tendies and sides.
I want to see what he looks like about a half hour to 45 minutes after he finishes 5, with 5 whole chicken breasts in his belly.
I think we need to bring the BCJ media conglomerate to Galactic. We'll film Jeff eating 5 tendies and then follow him around for like an hour afterwards.
See, here's the thing. He wouldn't even have to buy 5, right? Because I'd eat 2, and he could have my extra one. You'd eat 2, he could eat your extra one. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what are we doing here, man? You only have to order at 1 3-piece, and you can have the leftovers. Get out of here.
Ridiculous.
Knucklehead.
Quit being a dumbass. I've been watching a lot of like old that 70s show, season 1 stuff. I've leaned in on the Red Foreman calling everybody a dumbass. I think I'm Red Foreman reincarnate actually as I watch more season 1.
Again, he's not dead.
Well, apparently no. There's a new there's that. Well, it's like that 90s show or that 80s show or something that he played in. I just mean, if we're being real, the character of Red Foreman that would have been alive during that 70s show would be dead by now. Like that guy was in his 50s.
Yeah,
in the 70s. That's like 50 years ago. He'd be 100.
A hundo, yeah.
Yeah. But that's kind of my spirit animal is Red Foreman. Is what it is.
He wouldn't have been in his 50s. He had a teenager, right?
But I guess people in their 40s looked a lot different in the 70s because Red Foreman looked old as shit.
Go back and look at the pictures. That's pretty accurate.
I know.
As far as, I mean,
anyway. My dad is in his 60s and he looks about the same age as Red Foreman did in that 70s show.
We're 3 minutes into this thing. We have discussed nothing, Burke.
Nothing. So look, it's the off season. Sometimes we're just going to have to discuss some random shit to get us to 15 minutes. It is what it is.
We're not doing the show that we wanted to do anyway, so it's fun.
No. We discussed that show off camera, but that's just for us. Unfortunately, Mike Saunders has entered the transfer portal. If we're getting to the news of the day for UC, I hate it in a lot of ways, but
elite speed,
always elite speed. Brian Snow was wrong on that one. Mike Saunders has elite speed. It stinks. I've known Mikey since he was in high school. I know his mom. I know his dad. I know his little brother. Like, it's one of those parts of the job that sucks. You make great relationships. You cultivate those relationships. And then a kid moves on. It's unfortunate. I hate it. But when discussing his future with Wes, he felt his future was, best suited somewhere else to accomplish what he wants to accomplish as the hierarchy of his future, of his career. And ultimately, that's what it's about more than anything. Yeah. Like, you tell the kid, this is what we see as your role. And if your dreams and aspirations are different than what we see as your role, then, maybe we need to part ways.
Would have liked to have seen it work out. I mean,
yeah,
obviously he was quite a character, and him having survived the previous regime and carrying over into the Wes Miller era, we definitely would have liked to see that the two worlds continue to collide, as we already saw Mason Madsen enter the portal as well. So two of the guys who entered the portal with the previous regime now are the first two to enter the portal outside of Rob Banks with Wes Miller. So there's obviously been a lot of people drawing a lot of their own conclusions in this whole thing, but to your greater point, it's just schematically not a fit for what the two visions are for player and team at this point.
And that's okay.
I agree.
Right? That's okay. You can tell a kid, look, our vision for you is 20-minute a game, 22-minute a game, significant contributor, but maybe not a lead guy or a go-to guy. And if your aspiration is lead guy, go-to guy, maybe the best way to do that is somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's an honest conversation. Like, we talk all the time about honest conversations, right? Like, those are the honest conversations. That's how those honest conversations work.
Here's a way that you could kind of put it in the same perspective is somebody had that conversation with David DeJulius at Michigan. And look how that ended up for him. I mean, obviously, Cincinnati is not at the same level as Michigan is. So he took a step back to get to where he wanted to be. And maybe it takes Mikey taking a step back to get to where he wants to be.
It sucks. Like, it really does. I hate it. I hate this part of the process. As you know, you've been around. I had a great relationship with Mike Saunders and Mason Madsen.
Yeah.
Great kids. Like, you were around them enough. Did you ever get a bad vibe from either of those kids?
Not when dealing with you. No, I mean, just not in practice or any of that either. In the practices that I've attended, they seem to thoroughly enjoy themselves on the team, with the teammates, with you, with coach. Like,
right. They were good kids. They gave their all for the university. Like, look at Mason and like all the, going to the Notre Dame game, and he was a regular at women's volleyball and soccer, and
just supported the athletics programs. Absolutely.
He enjoyed his time here, but he had bigger aspirations than what his role potentially was going to dictate going forward.
I guess
so. He's moving on.
The biggest problem I have with everything, and I didn't want to necessarily bring it up on the show tonight, but I think here's a better platform to bring it up, is there's plenty of people who are saying, like, John Brandon wasn't the problem, or these kids are soft, or whatever narrative it is that they're trying to paint. Because
what was soft about what they did on the team this year? Like, what was the complaint about those two guys in terms of being soft on the team this year?
I don't know.
None. There was none.
And some people have also tried to paint the picture that Wes subs too much, so these kids could never get into the flow of the game. Here's the problem: is you had no one elevating themselves. Mikey had peaks and valleys. He had peaks and valleys over the entirety of his career.
And guess what? When he played well, he got more minutes.
That's how that works. Mason Madsen, peaks and valleys. Like, I don't really understand trying to paint a narrative for the picture it is that you specifically have this end.
Right. That's the thing, right? Like, I have this vision of what I think I'm seeing, and I have to do whatever it is to perpetuate that on the internet.
Just let these kids
social media account with 27 followers.
Let these kids write their own story.
I really bought in on everything I have to say.
I just don't understand why we need to do that, especially with, I know people don't like calling them kids, but I mean, I know what I was when I was in college. I wasn't a full-grown man at that point in time. I was making some really bad decisions, which should surprise no one who's listened to me.
I was a dipshit until I was today years old. Yeah. Still a dipshit. Like, I wish Mikey well. He did everything possible to give his best to this university. There wasn't a angry parting of the ways. You're not going to get any Justin Williams exposés on bad breakups and divorces and going through divorce court. you're going to get a kid that, gets a chance to go find an opportunity where a coach has a vision that meets his dream. And that's okay.
I think that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
For any athlete in college sports. Like, go where what your aspirations are, aligning with what the coach's aspirations for you can be.
That didn't match up here. Same with Mason. It's unfortunate. I would love for it to have matched up with both. But we all know what this comes down to, right? The Big 12 is looming in 2023. And Cincinnati has to find a way to get ready. And Wes Miller has to find a way to get ready. Why, Aaron? Because every year, every October, they tie you to the tracks.
Yeah.
And by March, you got to find a way to get untied. That's the harsh reality of the college game. You got anything else?
Just, I think that
go watch the first hour of the BBP with Marquise Copeland. That was awesome.
That was a lot of fun.
He's a like, that is a genuinely happy soul. He's gonna get a ring. Like,
I think my favorite part of that entire interview is anytime you ask him a question that he's uncomfortable with, he just laughs until we ask him another question. Like,
right? He's like, you guys. It's that little kid that like does the little like the meme. But no, when you asked him about the Super Bowl and you said Marquise Copeland, Super Bowl champion, he was like, goddamn right.
It doesn't happen for everyone.
And look, man, like, you meet a lot of kids that coming in and out of this program. You meet a lot of great dudes. You meet a lot of awesome personalities and people we want to have on the podcast. But when you get to introduce one of them as Super Bowl champion and see the smile, see the way that they light up at that recognition, all worth it. Completely worth it. It was a great, great hour with Marquise.
Cincinnati's now got 3 of them here in the last decade.
Kelsey, Cope. You got another one?
I'm trying to think. Was Moore with Baltimore when they won one?
I don't think so.
That's the only other one in question for me. Unless Derek Wolfe was with Denver when
he might have been.
That might be a fourth.
That might be a fourth. Let us know if we're wrong. How many Super Bowl champions, active Super Bowl champions right now?
I'm not
one
curious.
of them. One of them is Marquise Copeland, and he was a guest on the BBP tonight. So
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, go enjoy that. He's Aaron Smith. You sound better tonight. I'm happy for you.
I just took medicine, so we'll see.
Okay. Spring football in the morning. I got to get some sleep to get up and go take that in. Practice report number 5 coming tomorrow. Nightcap coming tomorrow. PTP. Oh, boy, you guys got a lot to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on here at Bearcat Journal. Stay tuned. We love bringing it all to you. He's Aaron Smith. I'm Chad Brendel. Galactic Fried Chicken is the sponsor. BearcatJournal.com is the spot. See you tomorrow night.